Gender theory analyzes different interpretations of masculinity and femininity in different contexts, communities, and areas of study. Gender theory involves looking at how negative and positive gender interpretations and stereotypes can influence the development of healthy identities. Gender theory allows us to analyze the feminine and masculine characters to determine whether they are significant, realistic, and representative, or whether the characters are simply objects used to construct and uphold gender norms. In this video, I will explore how the female identity is both suppressed and expressed through the confirmation and subversion of gender norms, as well as use gender theory as a critical tool to analyze the power female characters are given in movies with female protagonists. The first movie chosen is A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. It is an Iranian-American art house vampire film made in 2014 that is set in a fictional Iranian city but shot in California. It tells the story of a female vigilante that subverts the gender norms of both American and Iranian societies. In contrast, Girl Interrupted is an American film released in 1999 that tells the story of a teenager sent to a mental institution after a suicide attempt. Her interactions with the women around her influence her personal growth while highlighting the dangers of the institutionalization of the female body and mind. In A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the girl defies the Western viewpoint of veiled women as sexually and individually oppressed. At the same time, she moves away from the Iranian social expectation of what is respectable and the generalization of women as submissive subjects. The use of the chador blocks the male gaze, and its association with women as victims allows the girl to lure males and kill them. This provides a subversive image of the place women hold in both American and Iranian societies. Thus, it provides a positive platform for its female characters to have agency and develop personhood. In Girl Interrupted, the female protagonist questions the gender-based diagnosis and treatments forced upon her. Her fight against the binary expectations that restrain her allowed the film to question the way society views young women as objects to be restrained, by showing how those in positions of power attempt to lock them into places of vulnerability. In addition, society has a tendency to ostracize and vilify those, especially women, that step outside the expected norm. This is seen in both films as they both depict a monstrous female character that directly opposes the norms of femininity and respectability in their respective cultures. In A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the expectation-defying female vigilante is also depicted as a chador-wearing, blood-sucking monster whose only method of justice is through murder. However, the vampire girl is able to subvert the monstrosity she is associated with, as she is outside the constructs of society's dominance. The girl uses a subversion of the male gaze to terrorize toxic men and eradicate symbols of misogyny. The girl is not inherently sexualized by the camera, but instead is at eye level with it, solidifying her position of power within the movie as a whole. In contrast, the characters of Cassandra and Lisa in Girl Interrupted explore the deviation of gender norms through being a monstrous female figure, in the sense that the institution they are placed in are unable to control their mind and identity. However, the association of internalized monstrosity within mentally ill women plays a role in constructing an image of these women as dangerous, even evil. For example, Lisa's aggression constructs her status as an unfeminine other character. This is further emphasized by the unnerving close-up shots and dark shadows that she is shot in. Whereas, because Susanna removes herself from Lisa's control, she is framed in both literal and metaphorical light. Susanna is also shot from a direct angle, whereas only a distorted half of Lisa's face remains visible. These harmful representations of what type of women embody monstrosity and madness reinforce the exclusion and institutionalization of the unfeminine other figure. Girl Interrupted ultimately shows two female leads being pit against each other, with one girl cured because she conformed to binary codes of female morality, whereas the figurative mad woman remains in literal constraints. For example, one of the few times Lisa is clothed in white, symbolizing purity, and is placed in bright natural lighting is when she is constrained, left with all her emotions and vulnerabilities exposed. In contrast to this, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night does not rip apart its characters to present an opinion about female normalcy. Instead, it prevents women and femininity through their dynamic and impactful connections, thus establishing nuanced characters that develop beyond the central conflict or problem they are assigned with. In terms of Addie and her protector, the girl, the relationship is of two women of the night that fight against a heteropatriarchal society to obtain purpose as well as happiness. The two films parallel in their representation of the typical archetype of the toxic, abusive male character. However, the contrasting time periods of the two films play an important role in the outcome of these characters. In Girl Interrupted, Susanna's abuser reappears in her trauma time and time again. He is shot from behind a door or window, solidifying an unnerving presence and potential for damage that he can have on her life. However, the secrecy and lack of importance given to her physical and mental trauma depicts a stigma against victims of sexual abuse in the 1990s. Furthermore, Susanna's interactions with others in the film is effective in depicting how society often forces the role of traumatized adolescents onto the shoulders of young girls, but subsequently stigmatizes and marginalizes them. The archetype of the male abuser is carried past cultural barriers and time constraints, as we see that in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, the men are a reflection of the violent patriarchy of both American and Iranian societies. Their dominance is illustrated through the figure placement of male characters. They look down at women from a higher position, and this elevation is a result of their own oppression against females. However, the key difference between the men in both movies is their outcome, as the power the male figures have in A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is quickly lost as they become powerless and then lifeless due to their thirst for domination and power. Ultimately, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night and Girl Interrupted both provide a lens into the stories of women who are marginalized by their societies, women who often become a monstrous other figure. However, there are stark differences into the narratives they use. Girl Interrupted provides insight into how gender-based social policies suppress and harm female identities. On the other hand, The Girl Walks Home Alone at Night uses gender expectations of a young woman vulnerable to a masculine world and subverts them to create a female threat that uses her identity to destroy toxic masculinity. In conclusion, using gender theory as a critical tool while watching movies with female protagonists, such as Girl Interrupted and A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, allows us to question the accuracy of the representation of female characters. Through both movies, we can see that women that subvert heteropatriarchal and binary gender norms are often labeled as monstrous. As such, the application of gender theory in both films allows us to see how the best movies are often those that manipulate gender norms to create a commentary on the treatment of masculinity and femininity in real life.